Good morning. Krista Woodard here with the Osceola Public Library. Are you ready for another Virtual Science Saturday? As we discussed last Saturday, we're going to do a series of some experiments about density. Now, do you remember what density is? It's a definition, excuse me, a definition that is hard to understand unless I put a picture with it, okay? Density is a measure of mass per unit volume of a substance. Does that mean anything to you? No, it's kind of confusing. Put it this way. Density would be if I took this cup and filled it completely full with feathers, this was the example we used last week, and filled this one completely full with marbles, it would be the same volume, the same amount of space taken up, but it would be a different weight. So it's the amount of weight per space that is used up. It is a good picture of density. So obviously marbles would be much more dense than feathers would. Okay, so for today, what we're going to do is see if an egg will float in water. So what we need is 2 cups that you can see through as best because, of course, then you can see the egg. Water and salt. A couple of eggs. I have some of my brown farm eggs. And a measuring spoon. I'm using a tablespoon because we'll probably, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. All right, first thing we're going to do is, do you think this will float, excuse me, in water? Let's find out. We'll fill it about 3/4 full. Goodness, I have a frog in my throat today. Excuse my coughing. No, I don't have COVID. Okay, so here we go. I think it will. I have a spider in my cup too. No idea where it came from. All right, we'll see if it floats. It does not. Interestingly, the spider does. Okay, it does not float because the egg is more dense than the water. All right, now I have some figures here. Water has a density of 1 gram, that's a weight, 1 gram per milliliter of water. And the egg is actually 1.03 grams per milliliter. So it is just a little bit more dense than the water, but a little bit is all that we need to see that it does not float. All right, so now we're going to try the same thing. But we're going to put some salt in here and see what happens. I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons. There's 1, 2. That's a lot of salt, isn't it? 3. All right. Now, the thing with salt is if we stir it, salt will dissolve in water. It's kind of like sugar that way, if you've ever put sugar in water. Okay. It still looks a little cloudy, but it is, for the most part, dissolved in there. All right, so here we go. What do you think this will do? Think it'll still sink? All right, let's give her a try. It floats, look at that. So regular water with a spider is less dense than the egg, but for some reason, when we put salt in here, then the water becomes more dense, and so the egg floats on top, or at the top, I should say. Okay, what is the reason for this, you might ask? The eggs No, no, no. Let's see here. When you add salt to the water, it increases the density. So there's now more weight per the same volume. Because remember, the salt dissolved in there. It didn't really increase the amount of water. So it increased the amount of volume in the same amount of water. So more dense. Fascinating, isn't it? Okay, well, thank you for joining us this morning for our newest density experiment. I really must go get rid of the spider. He's kind of driving me crazy. All right, have a good weekend. Hopefully we'll see you next week, all right?